South Iceland is one of Europe's best-kept secrets. In South Iceland, opposites vie with each other. The level and green lowlands contend with the black sand and rugged lava, interspersed with vast expanses of wilderness, hot springs, glaciers, geothermal energy and great lakes. South Iceland is just an hour's drive from Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. Þingvellir is the national park of Iceland and a short stretch from Reykjavik, a favorite stop-off among travelers. In addition to the unforgettable beauty of its nature, Þingvellir is steeped in history, since this is the site where the ancient parliament stood and many important national decisions were taken here. Close to Þingvellir is the Nesjavellir geothermal power plant, which produces the city's electricity and hot water. Driving east from Þingvellir, we enter the Golden Circle, which contains two of South Iceland's most famous landmarks in the valley of Jökulsárlón. This vast geothermal area includes the famous Glacier, from which the English word geyser derives. One of the most powerful hot springs in the area today is undoubtedly Strokkur, the Tjörn, a lively and high-spirited spring. The crown of the Golden Circle is Gullfoss, which is the most powerful and formidable waterfall in the country, as well as being the most awe-inspiring. Running out of Gullfoss is the Hvítá River, which is one of the largest in the country. Here you can go fishing, or tackle the rapids in a kayak or a raft. Or, if this is too extreme, you can always go horse riding in the surrounding area. There are plenty of places where you can go salmon fishing in South Iceland, the Rangá River, to mention but one. Along the coast are a number of fishing villages which have flourished over the years, as can be seen from the remains of the old fishermen's huts. The Westman Islands are populated by colorful inhabitants and boast the largest puffin colony in the world. The islands made headlines towards the beginning of 1973, when an eruption started in the Heimaey volcano. Today the islands have much to offer. You can visit the Maritime Museum, for example, play a round of golf, as you can all over South Iceland, or, on the first weekend of every August, join in the unforgettable open-air summer festival, when people of all ages gather to party through the night. Accommodation can easily be found in hotels and quaint little guest and farmhouses all over South Iceland. The restaurants will offer you a taste of juicy southern mountain lamb cooked with local ingredients. South Iceland provided the historical setting for one of Iceland's most famous sagas, Njáls saga. Visitors to Hvolsvellir can travel back in time by taking a look at the Njáls Museum, where they will come face to face with some of these historical heroes. Close to Eyjafjöll tumbles a 60-meter high waterfall called Skógarfoss. Legend has it that a settler by the name of Thrasi hid his gold here in ancient times, and some claim they can still see it glittering in the water. The museum at Skógar offers visitors a glimpse of how Icelanders lived in early times, inside this perfectly preserved turf farmhouse. Among the most stunning natural wonders of South Iceland are Dyrhólaey, Reynisfjaran and Reynistrangar in Mýrdalur. This is one of the most precipitous promontories in the country, and interesting lighting effects are often created where Dyrhólaey and Reynistrangar rise out of the sea. Hekla is situated in the most volcanic area and has been one of the most active volcanoes in Iceland. This mountain has enjoyed international renown over the centuries, and in the Middle Ages writers believed it to be the gateway to hell. The Eyjafjöll are an 80-kilometer-long mountain range topped by the Eyjafjallajökull Glacier, which stretches down to Þórsmörk. The mountains are varied and interspersed with spectacular canyons and glens. Þórsmörk is one of the most beautiful natural paradises of Iceland. Every direction offers magnificent views of stunning mountains and glaciers. The green valley provides a natural shelter from the wind with a variety of walking tracks, and you can rest in mountain huts or tents. The area is surrounded by a variety of ice caps for those who prefer the more challenging way up. Seljalandsfoss is one of the highest waterfalls in the country, and many travelers stop to admire its beauty on their way to Þórsmörk. Landmannalaugar is a vast wilderness surrounded by colorful rhyolite mountains. This is a popular area for keen trekkers or anyone who just wants to have fun on these specially equipped mountain jeeps and snowmobiles. Landmannalaugar is fed by a variety of hot and cold springs which nourish the undergrowth, and natural hot pools to soothe the tired traveler. The Lagagígar are a series of craters on a 25-kilometer-long fissure stretching from the Síðujökull Glacier to the Úlfarsdalur Valley. One of the biggest eruptions took place in Lagagígar in 1783 and lasted for almost a year. Icelandic nature is at its most turbulent in this area, situated to the southwest of Vatnajökull Glacier. Veiðivötn is an highland desert and quite spectacular to see, carpeted by black sand, but in the summer, green oases appear which are ideal for outdoor life and fishing. Under the Hofsjökull Glacier lies a vast area of land known as the Þjórsá River Reserve. The reserve is quite flat and a natural paradise with some of the richest vegetation and animal life in Iceland. It is home to 1/3 of the total flora of Iceland and a wealth of marshy vegetation, and happens to be the biggest sanctuary for pink-footed geese in the world. The Þjórsárdalur Valley is the site of the restored Stöng farmhouse. Abandoned in the 12th century, it offers us invaluable insight into how the early settlers lived in Iceland. The valley is a good example of successful land reclamation because at the beginning of the last century, it was mostly sand. In the valley of Þjórsárdal we find Fossá River, with Háifoss waterfall falling from a height of 122 meters. Above Kirkjubæjarklaustur is a place called Systrastapi. The story goes that 2 nuns were burned at the stake here for heretical behavior. Lómagnúpur is one of the highest coastal cliff formations in Iceland. It rises steeply from a mountain called the Bear. Untouched nature, vastness, culture, relaxation. Summer, winter, spring and autumn, South Iceland is Europe's best kept secret.